Picture this. The year is 1999. There is no Google. There is no Facebook. There is no Instagram, no TikTok, no Netflix. There is no iPhone. The entire world's gateway to the internet, every search, every email, every headline, every piece of human curiosity flows through one place. Yahoo. It was the king of the digital world. With a valuation of over $125 billion, Yahoo was not just a website. It was not just a search engine. It was not just a brand. Yahoo was the internet. Hundreds of millions of people around the world woke up every morning, opened their browsers, and the first thing they saw, the first digital experience of their entire day, was Yahoo's purple homepage. Yahoo Mail, Yahoo News, Yahoo Finance, Yahoo Sports, Yahoo Answers. At its peak, Yahoo had over 3 billion page views per day. 3 billion. Every single day. But today, in 2026, Yahoo is a ghost. Not a competitor. Not a challenger. Not even a cautionary tale that people tell in Silicon Valley board meetings while nodding solemnly. Just a ghost. A fading purple logo. A brand that younger generations barely recognize. An empire that had everything, touched everything, owned everything, and still managed to lose it all. They had the chance to buy Google for a few $1 million. They refused. They had the chance to acquire Facebook before it became the most powerful social network in human history. They blew it. They were approached about a Microsoft acquisition that could have saved everything. Instead, they lost their own identity trying to fight a battle they had already lost. This is not just a story about a failing business. This is the empire blueprint of the most expensive series of mistakes ever made in the history of the technology industry. And the lessons buried inside Yahoo's collapse are not ancient history. They are happening again right now in 2026, inside companies you use every single day. Today, we decode how Yahoo lost everything. And more importantly, we decode why. To understand how Yahoo fell, you have to start at the beginning. Not the beginning of Yahoo's collapse, but the beginning of the opportunity they had to prevent it. The year was 1998. The internet was still young. Most corporations did not yet understand what they were dealing with, the scale, the speed, the transformational power of what was happening in the digital world. Into that landscape walked two PhD students from Stanford University. Their names were Larry Page and Sergey Brin. They had built a small, fast, extraordinarily precise search engine called Google. They offered to sell it to Yahoo for just $1 million. $1 million. For Google. In 1998. Yahoo said no. And here is what makes this not just a business mistake, but a window into an entire philosophy of strategic failure. Yahoo's reason for rejecting the offer was not incompetence. It was not laziness. It was actually, in a twisted way, logical. Yahoo's entire business model was built on keeping users on Yahoo, on making Yahoo a destination, a portal, where you arrived in the morning and stayed all day. Their advertising revenue depended on page views. More time on Yahoo meant more ad impressions. More ad impressions meant more revenue. And Google. Google was designed to do the exact opposite. Google was designed to find what you were looking for as fast as humanly possible, and then send you away. Off Yahoo. Off the portal. Out of the ecosystem. From Yahoo's perspective, a perfect search engine was a threat to their business model, not an asset. That single strategic misalignment between what users needed and what Yahoo's revenue model required is the fault line that would eventually swallow the entire company. 4 years later, in 2002, the reality was impossible to ignore. Google was growing at a rate that defied every projection. Yahoo's leadership finally recognized their mistake and went back to negotiate an acquisition. But now the price had changed. Yahoo offered $3 billion. Google countered at $5 billion. The difference, $2 billion sat on the desk of Yahoo's CEO, Terry Semel. He hesitated. $2 billion for a company that, at that moment in 2002, was already clearly the most powerful search engine on the planet. $2 billion to own the future of digital information. $2 billion to correct the most consequential mistake in the history of Silicon Valley. Terry Semel said no. Today, Google's parent company, Alphabet, is worth nearly $2 trillion. It processes over 8 billion searches every single day. It controls approximately 90% of the global search market. It is the primary advertising infrastructure for the modern internet economy. And Yahoo, the company that had the opportunity to own all of that for $1 million in 1998 and for $5 billion in 2002, was eventually sold for parts. In the world of missed acquisition strategy and tech giant decision-making, there is no parallel. This is not just the worst business decision in Silicon Valley history. This may be the most expensive hesitation in the history of capitalism. But here is what most people get wrong about Yahoo's story. Most people point to the Google rejection as the fatal error, the single moment where everything went wrong. And while it was catastrophic, it was not the whole story, because even after missing Google, Yahoo still had hundreds of millions of users. They still had massive brand recognition. They still had enormous financial resources. They could have rebuilt. They could have pivoted. They could have survived. The reason they didn't comes down to one diagnosis. One fundamental, structural, existential problem that no amount of money could fix. Yahoo never knew what it was. Was it a media company? A technology company? A search engine? A social network? An e-commerce platform? A news organization? A gaming destination? An email provider? Yahoo's leadership answered that question differently in every boardroom, every shareholder meeting, every strategic plan, and that inconsistency killed them. Between 2005 and 2009 alone, Yahoo made 57 acquisitions, 57 companies, purchased in 4 years, with a combined price tag in the billions of dollars. Flickr, del.icio.us, Overture, Broadcast.com, GeoCities, Right Media, Blue Lithium. Now ask yourself, what do all of those acquisitions have in common? What was the connective tissue? What was the overarching strategy that united them into a coherent platform vision? There wasn't one. Yahoo bought companies the way an anxious investor panic buys assets during a market crash, reactively, without conviction, hoping that sheer volume would compensate for the absence of strategy. Meanwhile, their competitors were doing the opposite. Google made one core bet, search, and executed on it with obsessive, almost inhuman focus. Facebook made one core bet, social connectivity, and executed with the same discipline. Amazon made one core bet, frictionless commerce, and scaled it with relentless operational precision. In the world of platform decay and legacy tech collapse, the pattern is always the same. The company that loses is never destroyed by a smarter competitor from the outside. It is always dismantled by strategic incoherence from the inside. Yahoo's biggest enemy was never Google. It was never Facebook. It was the inability of its leadership to answer a single fundamental question that every business, at every stage, at every scale, must be able to answer clearly. What are we specifically? Who do we serve specifically? And what problem do we solve better than anyone else on the planet? Yahoo could not answer that question, and in the attention economy of the 2000s, where focus was the scarcest and most valuable resource a technology company could possess, that inability was fatal. The lesson here is one that every entrepreneur, every founder, every CEO watching this needs to embed into their operating system. In a hyper-competitive market, clarity of identity is not a branding exercise. It is a survival mechanism. By 2006, the trajectory was already clear to anyone paying attention. Yahoo was losing ground. Google had surpassed them in search. MySpace, and then Facebook, was capturing the social attention that Yahoo's homepage had once monopolized. But there was still one more chance, one more moment where Yahoo could have rewritten the ending of the story. In 2006, Yahoo made an offer to acquire Facebook. The price was $1 billion. Mark Zuckerberg, who was 22 years old at the time, running a company that had not yet generated meaningful revenue, was reportedly ready to accept. The deal was effectively done. Term sheets were being discussed. Internal memos at Facebook acknowledged that the acquisition was likely. And then Yahoo's stock price dropped. And in a decision that will be studied in business schools for generations, Yahoo's board reduced their offer from $1 billion to $850 million. $150 million. That is the amount Yahoo tried to save. $150 million on a deal that was already effectively agreed upon, on a company that, even at that moment, represented the most obvious social networking opportunity in Silicon Valley. Zuckerberg walked away. The deal collapsed, and Yahoo never got another chance. Today, Meta, Facebook's parent company, is worth over $1 trillion. It serves over 3 billion daily active users across Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. It is one of the most profitable advertising platforms ever built. Yahoo saved $150 million and lost a $1 trillion future. But the story was not over yet, because Yahoo had one final chapter of strategic self-destruction still to write. In 2013, Yahoo acquired Tumblr, the blogging and creative content platform, for $1.1 billion. At the time, Tumblr had over 100 million blogs and a passionate, highly engaged Gen Y audience. It was an enormous community. It had cultural cash. It had creative momentum. But Yahoo did exactly what Yahoo always did with the companies it acquired. They absorbed it. They changed it. They imposed their corporate identity, the same incoherent, unfocused, portal-obsessed identity that had already failed, onto a platform built on the exact opposite principles. They alienated the user base. They added advertising that the community rejected. They imposed content policies that drove creators to competing platforms. Within 5 years of Yahoo's acquisition, Tumblr's traffic had collapsed by more than 80%. In 2019, just 6 years after paying $1.1 billion, Yahoo sold Tumblr to Automatic for a reported price of approximately $3 million. $3 million for a $1 billion acquisition, a 99.7% destruction of value in 6 years. Yahoo was not a corporation making strategic decisions at this point. Yahoo was a gambler, sitting at a table they no longer understood, making bigger and bigger bets with less and less conviction, watching their chips disappear one by one and refusing to accept that the game was already over. They were not innovating. They were not disrupting. They were not rebuilding. They were surviving. And in the technology industry, in any high-velocity digital disruption environment, survival without a clear forward vision is not a strategy. It is just a slower form of failure. By 2016, the verdict was in. The $125 billion giant, the company that had once been the front door of the entire internet, was put up for sale. Verizon, the American telecommunications company, purchased Yahoo's core internet business for $4.4 billion. $4.4 billion, for a company that had been worth $125 billion at its peak. That is a value destruction of over 96% over 16 years. To put that number in its full, brutal context, that sale price was less than what Disney paid for the Star Wars franchise. It was less than what Google paid for YouTube in 2006. It was approximately what Apple generates in revenue every 3 weeks. And within 2 years of Verizon's acquisition, Yahoo suffered 2 of the largest data breaches in the history of the internet, affecting over 3 billion user accounts. 3 billion. Every single Yahoo account ever created had been compromised. The final indignity. The final confirmation that the infrastructure, the security, the operational discipline, everything that a technology company of that scale should have had in place, had been allowed to deteriorate beyond repair. So, we have followed the full arc of this story, from the purple homepage that once greeted 3 billion daily visitors, to the $4.4 billion sale that marked the end of an empire. And now we must ask the question that makes this story more than just a historical tragedy. What does Yahoo's collapse teach us? What are the lessons that apply right now in 2026 to entrepreneurs, to founders, to executives, to investors, to anyone building something they don't want to lose? Lesson 1. The most dangerous strategic move a company can make is optimizing its business model against the direction the market is moving. Yahoo rejected Google not because they couldn't see the opportunity, but because Google threatened the way they were already making money. They chose short-term revenue protection over long-term market leadership. In the 2026 attention economy, where platform shifts are happening faster than at any point in business history, this lesson is not optional. It is existential. Lesson 2. Clarity of identity is not a luxury reserved for startups. It is the most important strategic asset a company can possess at any stage, at any size. Yahoo's corporate identity crisis was not a branding problem. It was a leadership problem, a focus problem, a conviction problem. The companies that win in every era of business, from the Industrial Revolution to the AI revolution, are the companies that know exactly what they are and do that one thing with total commitment. Lesson 3. The cost of hesitation in high-velocity markets is not linear. It is exponential. The $2 billion that separated Yahoo from owning Google did not cost them $2 billion. It cost them the better part of $2 trillion. Every day you wait to make the right decision in a fast-moving market, the price of that decision compounds against you. And lesson 4. Perhaps the most important lesson of all. Acquisition is not strategy. Yahoo bought 57 companies in 4 years, and each one made them weaker, not stronger, because they were buying to fill a void in their identity, not to execute a coherent vision. In the world of mergers and acquisitions failures, the pattern is always the same. Companies that acquire without conviction destroy value. Companies that acquire with precision, the way Disney acquired Marvel, the way Google acquired YouTube, the way Meta acquired Instagram, create dynasties. The difference is not money. The difference is clarity. Yahoo's downfall is not just a cautionary tale about missed acquisitions. It is a masterclass in what happens when a company loses the courage to define itself, when leadership becomes reactive instead of visionary, when survival instinct replaces strategic conviction. In the world of business, the biggest risk is not taking one. Yahoo feared the future, feared what Google would do to their ad model, feared what Facebook would do to their user base, feared what Microsoft's acquisition offer would mean for their independence. They feared every fork in the road, and every time they hesitated at a fork, the market moved on without them. And so, the future, the trillion-dollar future they could have owned 3 times over, left them behind. 3 billion page views a day, $125 billion valuation, the front door of the entire internet, all of it gone. Not taken by a stronger competitor. not stolen by a disruptive technology, not destroyed by an economic crisis, lost by choice, decision by decision, hesitation by hesitation. That is the trillion-dollar mistake. That is the empire blueprint of Yahoo. If you want to avoid making a trillion-dollar mistake in your own journey, whether you are building a startup, scaling a business, or making investment decisions in the most complex economic environment in history, subscribe to Empire Blueprint. Every week, we decode the past so you can build the future. I'm your narrator. This was Empire Blueprint. Next week, we go inside the company that was supposed to be the future of social media and became a masterclass in how to destroy a brand in real time. See you in the next case study.